Good morning, everybody, especially you, Deacon. How are you? Are you having a good morning?
Whoa. Why are you attacking me first off? Well, good morning. How are you, Deacon? I'm still drinking coffee, dude. Let me swallow.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
good.
morning,
Oh,
everybody. Yeah, welcome. Hey, did you see Nina Jankowicz is in our title card of our intro? That's okay.
no. Are you?
Not our title card in
You
our
had coffee
intro
this
video.
morning?
Oh yes, I've been up for like an hour.
I
I've been
was
so
getting ready to
pissed
say
off
you.
about stuff since yesterday. I've been
Oh,
like
you're mad.
motivated.
You've been mad. You've had your chemicals in your brain going this morning. That's why you're all like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Jay, hey, Deacon,
Oh
how are
yeah.
you? I'm just good. I'm good. Let's
I
go."
woke up and I was like, I'm just gonna fucking just complain like a motherfucker. Oh, the only thing I don't have to complain about is the vulgarity rule because YouTube reduced that yesterday. They're like, yeah, we were a little too tight on that. It didn't
Yeah, you
apply
should
to
say.
us because not monetized. But
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
yeah. We're not monetized.
good
Hello.
morning. Hi,
Yeah.
how are you? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to rumble.com/JJW, where every morning Deacon and I drink coffee and talk about news, politics, culture, pop culture, comic books,
Werewolves.
werewolves, if
We
I
talk
can
about
find
werewolves.
them. I've been looking hard. I can't find any. It's like they
Let me
only come
start.
out in October.
I know it's weird. It's weird how it happens that way. You want me to start trying to look for some werewolf educational
Mm,
once a month?
I don't know.
Once a month, we should have
We
a werewolf
need to,
educational minute.
it really does need to be organic. It needs to come up on its own.
Oh,
It doesn't have to be a werewolf
I
per
can,
se. It could be
I
any
can make
kind
it
of
organic,
werewolf.
dude. We just have to do a little pre-planning and acting, and we can make it seem organic.
Yeah. When I
It's no
say
big deal.
organic, I mean
Yeah,
like we
that's
have
no
to
big
really
deal.
fake it a lot better than this.
That's not a big deal.
Okay, we have so much stuff to talk about this morning, Deacon. But before we do, I just want to throw our title up on there. It's today is March 10th, 2023, and today's episode: Democrats forgot their January 6th homework for 2 years straight. They didn't do any of their homework. I think that Deacon is supposed to be doing radio stuff or something.
Today is Ashley's birthday, and I was
Happy
going
birthday,
to,
Ashley.
and it's my mom's birthday too. But today's Ashley's birthday, and I was going to, before I left this morning, I was going to write a sweet little note, and put it in the seat of her car so that when she went out to the car, she
Uh,
would see it and I forgot. Damn it. When you said March the 10th, I was like, oh.
oh no!
Man,
Oh no!
I
That's
was
what
gonna
that
write a
was.
little cute little note and just put it in her seat, a little sweet note, so
Mm.
that she saw it when she came out. Damn it, man. The road to
It's
hell is paved with good
it's
intentions.
very early in the day. You can still
Oh,
there's
I
a way
know.
for you to save this somehow.
I am, and we've got a thing tonight. We're going to throw axes tonight.
Oh, yay! That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. I've
I'm
done
I'm
that.
a little
There's
I'm
an axe throwing place like I don't know, like 2 blocks from my house.
I don't know how
We've been
well
down
I'll
there.
do. I've lost a lot of muscle mass in the past couple of years, so I've went down quite a bit, so I don't know how well I'll do.
Yeah. And the trick is you got to hold it with both hands all the way back and then
Yeah, I've
let
done
it
it
go.
before at the
Oh,
Renaissance fairs and stuff we've been to, but it hasn't been anything like this. This is like a place, where
yeah.
they
Well, if your place is anything like my place, it's basically like a warehouse, and they hung up some lights and
yeah,
put a bar in the
it's an
corner.
old bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So
right, we got so much stuff to talk about today. Today we're going to be talking about January 6th stuff, okay? But I'm going to just preface it like this. Up until this point on the show, I hope that I have conveyed my position as being the people shouldn't have been there doing what they did, and they should be charged if they did something violent. But my overall impression is that there was a bunch of people that were there for very good reasons and a few people that were there for not very good reasons. That's my impression. And the people that were violent and breaking windows and I don't know what, those people should be charged. I think I made my position on that pretty clear in the past. And if I hadn't, this is my former position. But as of today, I don't hold that position anymore. So we're going to talk a little bit about January 6th stuff. The first article that we have here is
we have the first story every day this week. The very
I
first
know.
every day this week.
Oh, are we doing a decent job of the job?
I don't know.
I don't know. You know how we would know is if we went back and checked out comments on the videos or likes and see if people were responding to us doing our job well.
Yeah, that's not going to work. You better.
Here we go.
This should have been a phone call, JJ. Come on.
Yeah, I know. It should have been a phone call. It should have been a phone call. as following the sage advice of 7294 SMK. It always should just we should just call each other. On January, the top Democrat on the January 6th committee says we didn't actually review any of the surveillance video.
Oh, so you threw a bunch of motherfuckers in jail for 2 to 4 years for just because somebody told you to? I don't understand where how did they get thrown in jail then? All of them.
All of them. Representative Benny Thompson said, quote, I am not aware of any member of the committee. And remember, this committee ran for 2 years. It put on like primetime specials to like show you stuff and testimony or whatever.
Did the
Primetime
committee
specials on
get
network TV.
funding from anywhere? Did the committee get any kind of funding from anywhere, any kind of sponsorship or anything like that? Because if so, I'd like to know where every goddamn penny of that fucking money went. Because
Oh,
I'm
what they
sure it went
got
into
was
some
political
Liz
clout
Cheney's
and
goddamn pockets, and then to come to find out they didn't do shit. This is
so
this is your government for you.
yeah. Let
This
me
is your
just
government.
make I am not making an error correction when I say here on the title card Democrats forget January 6th homework for 2 years. I do include Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger in those fucking Democrats because
Yeah,
those are not
they're not
Republicans.
Republicans, they're Democrats.
And okay, all right. So Benny said, I'm not actually aware of any member of the committee who had access to the video footage. He said access, but he's talking about video footage. We had a team of employees who kind of went through the video. Kind
Oh.
of went through the
Oh,
video.
so you had one of your fucking interns go through the video. So you didn't do it. You didn't even appoint. You told somebody else to do it, and they told somebody else that had a fucking intern because they're not going through 40,000.
Right.
I'm not going through 40,000 hours of bullshit tape. Have that
Right.
fucking intern do it. And you know
Right.
what? Let me tell you something about that intern. That intern is
He didn't
as
care.
is 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 as green as the fucking grass outside when it comes to any of this shit because they're about 20 years old,
Yeah.
21 years old, and they don't know shit. And being 20 years old, their mind is still a liberal goo, Play-Doh that has been molded
Well, not
and
only
mashed and formed by all of their fucking idiot liberal teachers over the years.
if it's not clear already, the Democrats on the GA6 committee, everybody on the GA6 committee had a story to sell,
They had
and
an
the facts be
agenda.
damned.
Yes,
So
they had a
they got,
story to sell, and unfortunately, people, I'm not gonna call names, but people that I admire, that I'm friends with, have bought this shit hook, line, and sinker, man. I know people that they're just
yeah, they
hooked. I
believe
can
it.
just
They
see them. They
believe it.
just believe this, and they think
They
that
are.
I'm the crazy one for questioning this.
And they feel a little bit of righteous indignation because they saw these video clips on TV and they think that everybody that was there was rioting and they were all betraying the country or
JJ,
whatever.
us as humans, I've said this before, not about this. I've said this about Miss. I'm trying to make sure I've got enough time here.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Watch your clock.
yeah, I'm going to have to actually talk. I can't.
That's okay. That's fine. I'm gonna just
No,
keep going on.
I've said this before. We humans don't like to be told that they're wrong. So if I tell you that the Paul Revere story that you've known your whole life is wrong, I always go back to that one because that's the one that comes off the top of my head. You don't want to be told that you're wrong. Humans don't want to be told that you're wrong.
Right. Of course. And that makes sense because the things that you like wherever you're at right now mentally, like you are running off of whatever current information you have and whatever like facts that you've established as being concrete in the past. And there's room for fluctuation there. But then when there's like some things that you just think are true, you can't deal with the fact that it's like, oh, well, that's probably not true at all. Because it undermines one of your fundamental like base building blocks of like how to cope with reality. So yeah, I mean,
Sorry. Yeah, that's what I mean. what was I saying? I don't even remember what
You
I
were
was.
saying people don't like to be told they're wrong, and it's not just like not like they get offended. It's like they can't process it. You like
Right.
your fucking brain doesn't work right.
Yeah, you don't want to be told, and I used this scenario. If we were all to tell our children that the sky is green and the grass is blue, and we teach our young children that color is green, that color is blue, in 5 or 6 generations, JJ, that is going to be a fact. In 5 or 6 generations is only about 150 years. Okay. That is going to be a fact. Your father, your grandfather, your grandfather's grandfather all said the sky is green and the grass is blue. All right. So just take that into consideration when we hear stories about the Civil War or any fucking thing in American history, honestly. Any fucking thing that you hear in American history is a fucking lie. I'm just telling you, as a
Yeah,
student, as a lifelong student of American history, most of the shit that you were spoon fed in school is a fucking farcical story that
yeah.
it was
Well,
painted to look good for kids. All
yeah.
right.
I'm gonna
All
say
that it is.
it's spit shine on some bullshit.
When
It's
people start talking about who's your greatest president and the first fucking name that comes out of their mouths, Abraham Lincoln, I want to puke in my mouth a little bit every fucking time. People are like, Abraham Lincoln was the best president. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. And you just told me how much you really know about history when they say that. You prove to me how much you are an
no.
idiot about
I
history.
I don't believe that President Lincoln was the best president because he was a
No.
good guy. No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
he,
no.
oh,
I think he was a. I think he was. The dude was so smart, and
oh,
he
he was
played
brilliant.
everybody.
Ah,
No,
yes, he was a
he
very smart man.
manipulated everybody around him. There's a book by Doris Goodwin Kearns you guys should read. It's amazing, and I do think he was the best president, but not because he was like the good guy that like let slaves go.
No,
Not that
no,
not
no,
that he shouldn't have done that,
no,
yeah, but
no.
like no, all the things that he did to
And
get into the, it's just
and the way
amazing.
that
Self with rivals.
the way that he did that, what you just said, that wasn't the way that we're taught either. He didn't do it that way either. There was some things that he did before he made his little speech, and there's some
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that he did that they don't teach you in school, and there's a reason why they don't teach
Okay,
you
we're
in
not
school.
going to get distracted by Abraham Lincoln's handsome
Yeah,
beard.
yeah,
Okay,
no kidding.
all right. So let's take some different facts together that we have this morning. Okay, so one, we know the Democrats on the J6 committee didn't do their job at all. That was
Right.
entirely propaganda. They didn't
The
even
the
look
the
at the
J6
video
committee.
footage.
Let's just say the J6 committee. We won't say the Democrats. We'll just say the J6
Say
committee.
the J6 committee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that, and we know that Jake and Jelly, which you will know as the Q Shaman, right? The Q Shaman got like 41 months in jail, almost 4 years in jail, due to uh, being tried. He was tried. He was made an example of. I, in fact, have a story here from 2021 from CNN. Let me switch over to this one. I just need to set some. I need to set some bricks in place. Okay.
Okay.
So here's Jacob. There's a video you're very familiar with. Oh, sorry. Here, bleep. There you go. You can see him now. There's Jacob Chansley, so-called Q shaman, sentenced to 41 months in prison. This is from CNN.com. So take it with it's 80% credibility there. But this is from 2021. Okay, this is over a year ago. He was sentenced to 41 months in prison, and he was made an example. I believe that word is used in here. He was sentenced kind of harshly as an example, and the judge listened to him talk for 30 minutes. Now, the things that Jacob said while he was being sentenced were things like, he said this. This is what Jake said. The hardest part about this is to know that I'm to blame, to have to look in the mirror and know that I really messed up, really, royally. I was in solitary confinement because of me, because of my decision. I broke the law. I should do what Gandhi would do and take responsibility. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's what men of honor do. The judge said, I think your remarks are the most remarkable I've heard in 34 years, akin to the kind of thing Martin Luther King would have said. The judge sentencing him. But the judge also said, what you did here was horrific, as you now concede. And he gave him no discount on his time at all. He gave him as much
See,
time
that's
as
some
he.
bullshit. You
Hold on.
can't
Hold
fucking
on.
do that. What the fuck?
So
You're not teaching anybody anything.
okay. So Jake was Jake was basically used as a token to
Yeah,
all those that would resist,
yeah,
as you're going to
yeah.
get jammed up. You fight this, you're going to get jammed up. And that's exactly what happened to him. Now, let me
Everything that he said that was kind of, oh, that is a Ken, that was the most wonderful thing you've ever said. That doesn't mean shit afterwards now. That doesn't mean shit.
All right. So yesterday, a different J6 defender named Dominic Pizzola filed to have his charges dismissed or a mistrial declared based on the fact that video footage released only to Tucker Carlson now shows that some of the things that everybody believed were not true. And his defense team was not given access to the video footage. Okay. So Pizzola's filing for mistrial and filing for charges to be dismissed based on the fact that exculpatory evidence, was not made available to him. And here is where I am now moving my position about all of the people on J6, because Dominic Pizzola is not an innocent guy walking around with the flag, just being doofus. Dominic Pizzola was breaking glass and doing some violent stuff, probably. Okay. But he's filing a motion, and if his motion is true, and I think it is, according to Rep. Benny Thompson, the government didn't turn over exculpatory evidence to the defendants that they are prosecuting. And that means that Jake also did not get access to the evidence that Tucker Carlson aired, showing him walking around, being led around by cops, being toured into cops. Do you know the charge that they charged and convicted Jake on? Interference with proceedings, interfering with government proceedings, because he was in the Senate chamber. But the Senate was not in the Senate chamber. He was let into the Senate chamber by the police, and then the government convicted him of interfering with proceedings because
That's
he
what
was
I'd
on the
always
Senate floor.
heard too. I had always heard that the police gave him access to the Senate chamber so that he could get a picture made. So that
Yes,
he could get, so it was a photo op is why that he had access to the Senate chamber, was the whole reason. And then this was
the
a, yes.
In fact, nobody has been charged with sedition. None of the J6 people charged with sedition. The people that are being charged with interfering with government proceedings. Did you know? You know, there's two chambers: the House chamber, the Senate chamber. The Senate chamber was empty, and that's where Jake was. And do you know everybody was in the House chamber because they were doing the presidential vote stuff.
Well,
Nobody on J6 went into the House chamber. Nobody that's being charged with anything interfered with government proceedings.
JJ, that's the way that the government does things. I mean, we got John Gotti. He died in prison up here in Marion, Illinois, not too far from me, on tax evasion, JJ.
Yeah, right.
So we've got to, that's why, yeah, none of them's charged with sedition or any of that crap. And people will foam at the mouth screaming, I hope these traitors rot in prison. Traitors? You are parroting what some idiot has said to you over and over again. When you say that,
let me say this. Right now, my position is this. It doesn't matter that you think they're traitors. It doesn't matter that they broke windows. It doesn't matter at all that they got into buildings they shouldn't have been in. It doesn't matter anymore, because as of yesterday, it's evidenced that the government withheld information. Deke, if you were hold on. No, I have a question for you. I know you want to talk too. If you were hauling drugs and the police arrested you, but they couldn't find the drugs, and so they wanted to convict you by planting drugs on you, would that be a legitimate conviction? Even if you were really a drug dealer?
They do that shit all the time. And no, it wouldn't be a legitimate conviction. If you want to go by the brass fucking tacks, no. It doesn't matter if I'm a legitimate drug dealer, and I'm a legitimate drug dealer. If you set me up to bust me, technically, that's not legitimate. Is it right There's that black and white gray area again. Don't let me forget my terrorist thing that I wanted to say. I'm going to
Tell
forget
your
it.
terrorist thing.
No,
Tell your
no, no. Go ahead. We're
all
already
right, all
talking
right,
about
all right. So here's where I'm at, guys. Brady versus Maryland. Brady versus Maryland is a rule. I know he's frustrated, but this is what I'm upset about.
Oh no,
This
I've
is
already.
why.
I was trying to make a
Oh,
point, and my brain works
okay.
this fast. That's why I keep talking all the time.
Terrorist something, right? Okay. The Brady rule is a result of Brady versus Maryland from the Supreme Court. Okay, the defendant bears the burden to prove that any withheld information that was found is both material and favorable. And if a defendant meets this burden, they can show that there is a reasonable probability that the outcome of the trial would have been different had the information been disclosed. The government didn't release the video showing what they were doing. If they had released the video, Jake's trial could have said, look, man, I wasn't interfering with proceedings. I didn't break anything. I was being led around by the police. And the judge would have said, you shouldn't have been there, but you're right. The video demonstrates that you didn't do what they have charged you with. You're free to go. So what did the government do? The government, and when I say the government, I mean fucking Nancy Pelosi and the House of Representatives did not release the video footage for 2 years, did not make it available to the defense team. You're an American. He's an American. You have the right to a defense, and you have the right to a fair trial. He didn't get a fair trial. He didn't get a fair trial, and I'm convinced that none of the J6 people, regardless of whether they're guilty, none of them had a chance at a fair trial. And so they should all be released, every one of them. And some of them apologize to because their civil rights were violated. So that's where I'm at. Okay, I'm done preaching about that.
Okay. I don't remember what I was going to say.
Terrorists.
I'm having a bad week. I've said this like
Sorry,
three
man.
times in the show, and I've said it to Ashley like 5 times. I'm having a bad week. I haven't slept in 2 weeks, so my brain does not function, and these words are floating right here and stuff that sometimes I just can't grab onto, and I just do that sometimes. It worries me because I'm getting older, and my brain is not as quick as it used to be. So when we're sitting here talking, and I have something float into my head like that, whatever I was going to fucking say was very important, and I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to interrupt you. And we've got to fucking play. Anyways, that's what the people on the other end, if you're watching, there is a delay between me and JJ. So sometimes when I say it delays, sometimes there's not a delay right now, but sometimes there's a bad delay on our end. And I just lost it, man. I don't know what it is. And when that happens, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but when that happens, I am struggling. I am desperately grasping at anything in my brain that can bring that thought back into the forefront of my brain.
Yeah.
So while I'm trying to grasp at anything to bring that thought, I'm not listening to a fucking thing you're saying. I didn't hear anything you said that last because I'm so desperately trying to get that thought back into my head. So that's why sometimes I'll be like, let me just get the thought out of my head. Let me just say this. And I'm not trying to like interrupt you or anything.
That's
I'm
okay.
trying to say it so that I won't forget it because I'm a fucking absent-minded idiot.
No.
I don't remember what I was going to say. It was something
we all have that.
We were talking about the terrorists, and I was going to. I have no clue what it was, but it was very important. I remember. It'll fucking come to me at like 4
it'll come back
afternoon, and I'll be like,
it'll come back. All right.
It it derails me.
All right? And it's super frustrating, especially if there's a word that represents exactly what I'm trying to say, but I can't remember exactly what the word is. I will get stuck right there, and I'll be like, I know what you mean.
No, trying to grab that thought that was just back in my head and pull it back into my head is that pisses me off beyond all, because I used to not be that way. I was on the morning show on the radio for a reason. I was very quick. I could come up with stuff very fast, and my brain is not that fast anymore.
Maybe this will help jog your memory. We can move on to our next story, which we can do the update on the Mexican cartel. So if you guys were watching,
I was like, oh, this is straight up. I was at my dad's house, and we were sitting there watching it, and Dad was talking about it, and I said, this is straight up a move that the mafia, that these organized crime, this is straight up something that they would do. And we started talking about how mafias in certain cities and these drug cartels down in Mexico and stuff for Christmas, they would go through the city and pass out toys and cell phones and all kinds of stuff to give to the people. The people love them, because
Yeah.
they take care of the people. And look what happened.
I mean, okay, so we
Yeah, yeah.
talked
Read the
we
story in
talked
case
earlier
folks don't know
we
now.
talked earlier in the week. Remember, if you haven't watched those episodes, I don't know what's wrong with you. But 4 people were kidnapped from South Carolina while visiting Matamoros, Mexico, just south of Brownsville, Texas. Okay, 4 people were kidnapped. Two, I believe, were killed during the kidnapping, and 2 survived. One of which was a woman, and another was a friend. And the two boys that died were, I believe,
The
her
woman's
her
sons?
brothers.
Oh, her brothers. Oh,
Brothers, I believe so. But so 4 people were kidnapped. 2 were executed in the street,
the
thrown in the
street.
back of the. Yeah,
Yeah, like
I've seen the
animal.
video of it. It's horrific. Yeah.
Horrific. Those men,
Um,
it's terrible.
Yeah. So they were recovered, and the two survivors, and they were brought back to the U.S. They were recovered. So the Mexican drug cartel, who's responsible for this, responsible because basically this happened on their turf, because it's
Huh,
not the Mexican government's turf; it's the
right.
cartel's turf.
It's the
The
cartels.
Mexican the Mexican drug cartel purportedly apologizes for the deaths of kidnapped Americans and calls out members for lack of discipline. These now I don't know if this story has the photo. Uh, I don't know if it has the photo, but there is a photo of these 4 men. The authorities recovered these 4 men from a vehicle in which they were tied up,
Tied up.
and then and a letter was left.
A
This
letter
was
was
like
left
this was like
apologizing.
Mexican cartel Spider-Man tied these dudes up and left them for the police, like in a cartoon. It's
This is a textbook maneuver. This is textbook, okay? Because if you are the leader of an organized crime family that makes millions and millions of dollars and you've got all this shit, you've got to freaking keep your nose clean in certain aspects, all right? These little fucking undisciplined young ass punks decide to do this shit, and it could send ripples and destroy the whole organization, to the point that the United States government was talking about labeling us terrorists to send the army down here. So what the
right.
fuck are we going to do to save our asses? We're going to turn in these little motherfuckers. We're going to turn in every one of them. We're going to send an apology letter. And then I guarantee you something that hasn't been said, JJ. I guarantee you something that hasn't been reported, hasn't been said, but I guarantee this has happened. I bet that woman's medical bills were mysteriously paid for. I bet that woman's house payment
Wow.
mysteriously taken care of, or a car mysteriously appears in her driveway. Mark my words, you will never hear it, but I guarantee you something like that will happen. And I've got to go.
Okay. So here's the photo of the 5 suspected murderers and kidnappers from the cartel. They have their shirts pulled over their head, and their hands are all tied. And it looks like at least that guy might have his feet tied together. I don't know, but this guy does not. These guys were, I presume, all in this truck. And on the on the window of the truck was taped a letter. It's written in Spanish. You can see it says "La vida y la integridad," something like that. So I can't read the letter right now, but so there's a letter. It's basically like, here's the guys that did the bad stuff. You can have them. They left them in a truck. They left them in the suspected. This is the truck that that the crime was committed in. So I believe it's this. It might be this truck, but anyway, they just left them on the street in a truck, tied up. So now I imagine they had cartel gunmen that were like watching right up until the moment that that the perps were recovered. So it's not like they were just left there for hours at a time. They were probably left there temporarily. Okay, so Um, where does that leave the United States and the Mexican cartel? I mean, like doing one good thing does not mean that like you guys are off the hook because like you're still pouring fentanyl and you're trafficking humans, and you know, I don't know, but I mean, this is one good thing. Turn these guys over. Hopefully, there's enough evidence to prove that they're the ones that that did this. I can tell you that I already read a statement from one of the kidnapping victim that this doesn't change anything for her because she still lost her family. And it really shouldn't change anything with the American attitudes of our border policy. We need to secure our border so that we can safely let in people that we want to let in, and we can keep out criminals and drugs and stuff like that. So, all right, moving on.
I am playing
Moving on.
I am playing a so once at 7 o'clock every day at this time, I do my little break, and it's a little I call it my covered dish. All right. I have a
Oh
restaurant.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I have a restaurant that sponsors it, and I play my cover song. And one's a covered dish. It's a restaurant covered dish and
Right.
cover song. So, and a buddy of mine that's passed away that was a radio DJ, he's like my brother. He came up with that, so I do that.
Where do
And
you even find all these covers?
internet. I spend a lot of time at home going through. I listen to like stuff on YouTube and stuff, so I'll like make mental notes and stuff. But once a
Right.
month, I do this thing where I do bluegrass covers, where it's bluegrass covers of popular songs, like 90s songs or rock songs or
Okay.
Metallica. So Gary Rossington, who was the last original member of Leonard Skinner, passed away over this past weekend, the guitarist. So I was doing a bluegrass Leonard Skinner all week. Which it's really freaking good. If you like bluegrass, it's really good. These musicians are super
All
freaking
right. I'd
super
listen to
talented
that.
musicians. So today I'm playing. Look how long this song is. See the red?
Seven is that
Yeah,
7 minutes?
yeah. I've already had a minute and 30 seconds
So
countdown.
it's like a
It's
9 minute
Freebird.
song.
It's
Wow.
Freebird. It's Freebird on bluegrass. It's
Wow.
really good.
Oh
I
my
listened to
gosh.
it this morning in the 5 o'clock hour, and it's really freaking good. That violin starts going. There's a dobro in there. It's awesome.
Huh. All right.
I'm starting talking about music again. Hey, we had a
Um,
really good music discussion in the Funslingers chat the other day when we were talking
you
about
guys
music,
did.
and everybody came in and started talking about music and stuff. Yeah, yeah, we had a really good music discussion. There were several bands that was
I
named
didn't
that
know.
I never heard.
I watched it for a little while, and I was like, I don't know what these guys are saying. I, like honestly, band names I've never heard of. Kill
But
Electric Sheep or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm like,
that
what?
all that stuff is metal stuff, and yeah, you probably would
Oh,
hear
okay.
from that because it's not on the radio. But you were
Right.
named. Everybody was like metal, and then it was some progressive rock type, soft rock type stuff, and then JJ comes in with Nina Simone and Sam Cooke, I
Yeah.
guess you were trying to stump me, and I'm like, oh, dude, you sing
No,
the
no, no, no. That
best
was just like
songs
that was the
ever.
only thing I could think of. I was like, you guys are talking about songs that artists they like, and I'm like, I don't really listen to music, but my kids like I'll listen to Sam Cooke, and my kids will know Sam Cooke.
That's great. No, absolutely. No, I think that's great. And like when you said that, I was like, oh, because the other day, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers he sent out a message that this guy had passed away named Wayne Shorter, and he said, if I could achieve a fraction of the ability that this musical genius had in my lifetime, whatnot. And I was like, oh my God, Flea's one of the best people, one of the best instrumentalists to ever pick up the instrument. And if
Plays
he,
multiple instruments. He plays
yeah,
bass guitar. He plays
yeah, and I was like,
trumpet.
and if he is saying this guy, he's a fraction of as good as this guy, I want to hear this guy. Who is Wayne Shorter that just passed away?
Yeah.
He's a freaking jazz saxophonist. And
Ah.
it is freaking phenomenal. I started listening to some of his stuff on YouTube. I like jazz, and it's great. It's great. I've been listening to it. Ashley came in the house the other day, and she's like, "What are you listening to?" And I'm like, isn't this great? I love this, man. But I
You.
listen to freaking metal and country. We
Yeah.
had a country conversation, and we were talking about The Cure. So it was all over the.
I saw a funny video yesterday of the Cure. There was a so the Cure. I didn't think this would come up, but it came up. So the Cure is returning to the United States to do a tour of in America, North America, for the first time in 7 years, and
Really?
yeah, and the whole band was walking across a carpet, and there was a very excited reporter who said to as the band
Robert
walked up,
Smith.
she was like, yes, to said to Robert Smith, "Are you excited about coming back to America? This is so nice to meet you. Are you excited to come back to America for your first tour in 7 years?" And she did the mic over to this, and he looked over at her and he said, "Based on the way you sound, no." Like, I'm not, like, he's not excited. She is. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I was like,
They're
oh,
not
okay.
coming anywhere near me. They're coming near
Yeah.
you, it looks like.
Mm.
Houston, Dallas, Austin.
Hmm. Okay.
Man, that sucks. I would if they were in Nashville, I would definitely go watch The Cure in Nashville.
Really?
Hell yes.
I mean, I would have 20 years ago. I'm not going anywhere near a concert or
I
anywhere.
like I dated this girl in high school. She was really pretty, but she was really freaking into The Cure, and she was really on her own little cloud and didn't give a crap anybody else.
Yeah.
She was a little weird. She was really pretty, and she was really into The Cure. So I got really into The Cure when I dated her, and I just like their
Uh,
music still to this day.
I have. There's a bunch of songs that they have that I like. I haven't listened to in 20 years, but I do like. But
Yeah.
you know, let's. We got some important news here. I didn't know this. I don't believe any of us knew this. And I like to try to add news that I think is something you don't know about. I want to diversify our lives. We can't be the codgy old right conservatives that keep the tunnel vision. We got to like expand our views a little bit. And I
Yes, we
didn't know
can.
this.
Oh, okay. We can't?
We
Okay.
can a little bit. Vladimir Putin has
Oh,
given
God.
Steven Seagal. No, this is important. Important. Vladimir Putin has given Steven Seagal Russia's top award for humanitarian work.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah. So Russian President Vladimir Putin has given him his their highest award. Seagal is, of course, a well-known actor and regarded as a martial arts expert. In quotes, wink, wink.
When you get done with this, I
Uh,
have one question about that picture when you get done.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's been involved in numerous humanitarian projects throughout his career. He's a longtime supporter of Russian culture and has worked to promote and preserve traditional Russian art forms. Putin praised Seagal for his efforts to promote peace and understanding between Russia and the United States. That alone, I'm going to be like, okay, that's probably good because, I don't think we should be at war with Russia or anybody else. Calling him a true friend of Russia, he also has noted that Seagal's dedication to improving the lives of people around the world through his humanitarian work. I don't really care about the details of the award, but good for him. And also, I imagine that some people will probably react to this viscerally. Steven Seagal
I just have a
getting an
question
award.
about that picture before you go.
Yeah.
How many, and this is a serious question, I'm not joking at all.
Pounds? Is it
No, 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 no.
pounds?
No, and this is for the chat too, and you can leave your answers in the chat. I'm being serious. How many bottles of L'Oreal for men do you think it took for that picture?
Oh my God. This is very obviously dyed. I mean, look at his, come on. Look, I'm like 30 years younger than him and I got gray in my beard.
Look at
This guy's
my
his
beard.
beard
Yeah,
is
I'm
black as
45.
sin. Don't come on, Steven Seagal.
And Putin too. You know, Putin said that I want to have.
He looks pretty gray, to be honest. He looks pretty gray.
Yeah, but
Right there. You can see it right there.
touch up work, but
Yeah, a little bit.
Steven Seagal.
All
What
right.
is he? 68, 70?
I don't know. He's
Surely
up
to
there.
God he's in his 70s.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not googling it. You can find
I
it.
will. Steven
Oh,
Seagal is 52. That would make him 70. 70.
oh man!
He's
All
fixing to
right.
be 71. My dad's
Well,
like 7. That's how old my dad is. I can't imagine my freaking dad.
dyeing his hair, 70-year-old man dyeing his hair
Oh my
jet black.
God, that would be great.
This is the only difference between me and 35-year-old Steven Seagal. A little bit of black hair. People are gonna not mistake it. People are gonna not be able to tell how old I am. Okay, fatty. All right, hey, we got some more info. This is not so much a joke as I'm kind of proud of William Shatner. William Shatner. Now, like you guys, I grew up watching Star Trek, the original series, and there was always like drama around William Shatner and the dude that played Sulu or whoever. There was and even some rivalry between him and like
George
Leonard
Takei?
Nimoy. Yeah, George Takei. There was always all of this stuff,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
like I always had this opinion of like, yeah, maybe William Shatner isn't the best guy because he's always promoting himself and not necessarily lifting up the people around him that were also in his career. But that career was also like 50 years ago. But he's
Right.
always promoted himself,
70.
and it's kind of like I like him, but then like this or whatever. This story I like. And I like because I think it means that William Shatner, in his, he's like 91 years old, in his later life, he has decided for sure that the most important things in life are not fame. It's not being known and appreciated and liked and being on TV or anything like that. It's absolutely his family.
Well, better late than never. Jeez.
Yeah. And maybe it always was. You don't know. We really
Right.
don't know because as a performer, as a stageman, he's just got to be out there kind of like presenting and stuff. Maybe it's always been important to him.
I
But
agree. Let me add on to that right there. I agree. I have a buddy. Before you close that, you don't have to.
yeah,
I have a buddy that when he's a performer, when he is completely different off the air than he is on the air. All right, and it's completely so a lot of people do that. So you're right. I mean, he might have had to put on a completely different persona because of what he was, but in his private life, he was somebody completely different.
right.
But very well, you're very well. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay. So William Shatner, 91, confirms he doesn't have long to live in a new statement. William Shatner has admitted that he doesn't have long to live. So there is currently a documentary being made about his life called "You Can Call Me Bill," and in it, he's admitted he's received a lot of offers over the years to do documentary, and he revealed the reason that he's doing it now is that he does not have long to live. Whether I keel over as I'm speaking to you or 10 years from now, my time's limited. That's very much a factor. I've got grandchildren. This documentary is a way of reaching out after I die. There was a time when actors, including myself, he says, would portray death by falling to the ground and fluttering and close your eyes and you die. But that's not how you die. You die uh, like this, and your eyes are open and your breath stops and you just die. And when I have to put a dog down at the vet, I cut my dog's head and I say, "I'm with you, baby. I'm with you." And the injection goes in. The dog looks at me, and that's it. You just don't know that they're dead, and that's how you die. It's abrupt. My wife's brother walked out of the living room into the bedroom, and there was a thud. She walked in, and he was dead. So he wants to be able to have some way for his grandchildren to know him as they're older because family life is totally encompassing. I see my daughters every weekend and we go off on holidays and everything from skiing to snorkeling. Being a grandparent is the greatest joy for me. I have the time now to grab a grandchild and talk and hug and kiss and make sure that I'm taking time to be with them and to give them some aspect of the things I've learned. So this to me, I mean, like I don't know. I don't know that I have had that in my life. I mean, my grandparents, yeah, but you know,
You're not old enough yet.
my dad didn't have time like that,
Yeah.
and we were just always fighting, and my mom was always just stressed with providing for my brother and me, and I try to give my kids as much time as I can to, like it really as much.
Let me
And
tell you. Oh, sorry.
I'm just pretty impressed. I just feel kind of impressed.
One thing that I'm still really bad at it, but I've had several. This I've had several. I mean, I've had 4 that I can name of instances in my life that One was very major. It still greatly affects my mental health today. But I've had instances in my life where I've had an opportunity to see the person and go visit them or spend time with them, and I chose not to
Yeah.
because I was lazy or I was concerned with something for myself. I was selfish, and I
Right.
didn't spend time with that person, and that person passed away. And my mom is that's a big one. So I'm going to tell this story because this is I want to try to convey this as a dad lesson today for you people. My mom called me and she said, "Hey, you got the kids this weekend?" I was like, "Yeah, they're over here, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Well, when you get a chance, why don't you bring them over so I can see them, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "All right, yeah, we're busy and blah, blah, blah." I was laying on the couch. I was tired. I was really exhausted. I was laying on the couch. The kids were farting around the house doing something. I didn't want to have to get them together. They were younger, they were younger at the time. They're not in their teens now. So I was going to have to get them and get them ready and go over there and stuff. And it was just going to be a hassle. And I was tired and I didn't want to. And my mom passed away 2 days later. And
Yeah.
that to me, I think about that all the time. I don't think about it. I kick myself about that. I'm not just thinking about it. I'm punching myself in the face for that
Yeah.
all the time. So here's the lesson you need to learn from me. Don't be me. Do that. Try to remember that. Try to take that breath and be like, okay, like
Yeah.
you said, so and
Just
so
just
walked through the living room and boom, thud in the bedroom, and they're not there anymore.
yeah.
You know, I
It's difficult. It's difficult because like you got so much on your thing, and you're tired sometimes. You just don't want to do stuff sometimes, and it can be really difficult to be aware of your state. Like there's times that I do stuff because I want to do it. I'm being selfish. That's what I want to do. That's my priority. And
mhm.
to just kind of recognize like I'm choosing myself over something else or somebody else for
Which
this
is
time.
fine to
And
do.
sometimes you feel justified and whatever, but just be aware there may be a cost. There could be a
There are
cost.
consequences to that. There's
Yeah.
repercussions to every action. All right, cool. Do you have any other story? Are we gonna
I
I
got
don't know if we're gonna
I
talk
got
for about Fringe for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I got one more. I got at least one more story. The Fringe episode was great though.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Uh, uh, here's a story. A congressman
Oh,
claims the U.S. government. Oh, what? You're disappointed?
we've already known this. This I
You
thought
know
this
it.
was
I,
common
I don't.
knowledge.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Um,
mean,
we've
uh,
actually the United States Air Forces has like a little. Have you never seen the Air Force's UFO that they had in the 60s?
yeah, I've seen it. That
That
looks
little
garbage.
UFO thing?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
trash. A congressman claims the U.S. government has reverse engineered alien tech from UFOs. Uh, according to one,
Do you use a microwave every morning, JJ? Congratulations. You've used reverse engineering from a UFO technology. Congratulations. Do
what?
you use
No,
we're
no, no, no,
actually
no,
using
no,
see that computer and that cell phone that you're using right now?
no.
Oh my God, you're using reverse
No.
engineered technology.
No, I think
You
if I
think
remember correctly, the reason that we know about microwaves is because the guy was doing an experiment with something, and a Milky Way bar melted in his pocket.
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly and Paul
That's
Revere
exactly what
did
happened.
all of that shit by himself. Hey, do you think throughout the course of our recorded human history, you see my little finger here and our little
Yeah,
bitty you
yeah.
think
Hold
that
on.
we've just barely went up the bar graph, just over the course of human history and Stone Age and
Yeah.
Industrial Age and the Bronze Age and all that crap. And then all of a sudden in about 1940 something, we just went
Yes, that's right.
through the fucking roof in the 1900s. I'm not going to say 1940. I'll say in
Yeah,
the 1900s.
absolutely.
We just
Yeah,
went
absolutely.
way through the roof. You think that's a natural progression of
Yes,
evolution that nothing was there
yes,
to kind of stoke the fire, so to speak?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
just asking.
yes. It's related entirely to the telegraph,
You're exactly right.
to
It's
the
the
to the
telegraph.
ability to the ability to send
Benjamin
communications.
Franklin. Benjamin
That's right.
Franklin. It's all him. Benny boy. Him and his
Yeah.
horse.
We accelerated the rate of ability to share information like radically.
There's another proof of what I was talking about earlier. What do you know about Benjamin Franklin? Name 3 things about Benjamin Franklin off the top of your head, JJ. Go.
Kite, electric key, electrical. Don't.
You didn't name whores. Why didn't you name whores? Did they not teach you about all Ben Franklin's whores in high school history class? They didn't. Oh, but damn.
He was our ambassador to France. He let's see, and he has, I can't remember the quote, but it's an important lesson. And I also can't, since I can't remember the quote, I guess the lesson doesn't matter. But there's no point in pointless, contentious arguments. There's no point. If you're gonna argue with somebody and there's no ground they're gonna move, then like, why are you even bothering talking to them?
He invented these
bifocals.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
He wanted the
so a United States Congressman from Tennessee, Representative
Mm-hmm.
Tim Burchett, said that he thinks the U.S. government has recovered a craft at some point, impossible beings, alluding to a number of high altitude balloons that were shut down last month. Can I just say, Al Cibai at Futurism, shut down is not how you say shot down. It's a copy editor there, guys.
Well, dude, autocorrect.
Yeah, well,
wasn't working that day. What do you expect me to do?
It
Hit a button? It's supposed to do it automatically.
Lightweight. Okay, so let me just ask you this question.
Okay.
Like, just on the periphery of the idea of aliens and UFOs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right now, human beings have the ability to launch rockets into space and shoot refrigerators at asteroids, and we have the ability to make something called Chat GPT, which will lie to you but can maybe give you some answers. Why? If we were to like explore the nearest stars, it makes no sense to send a human being, right? It makes no sense when you can just send a probe and maybe put like Chat GPT on there and be like, hey, if you find something over there, let us know, and then send autonomous, robotic, AI-driven things over there. You don't have to worry about acceleration. You don't have to worry about people surviving in the vacuum of space. You don't have to worry about radiation. You don't have to worry about any of that. Just send a robot. Now, why the fuck would aliens come to Earth?
Dude,
why would they?
Why do you go on sightseeing tours? Why do they go on sightseeing tours of the stars' homes? All right. If you were an alien and okay.
All right. I'm listening.
You're an alien. JJ, you and your wife and your 2 girls, I've got an all-inclusive vacation coming up for you to where you're going to go around the solar system and visit all these planets, and even going to visit the trailer park planet that you've all heard about called Earth. You know, they still fight with each other over stupid shit on that planet. And it's really fucking entertaining. It's like the Jerry Springer show of planets, if you want to watch.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of.
I'm being stupid, but you make a good point. Who fucking knows, dude? I don't know, but I do believe that we're not the sole fucking living creatures in this vast fucking universe, and I don't believe that we humans on this planet are the pinnacle of what humans on this planet have reached technological wise. I think there has been other civilizations on this planet that have been completely wiped out, that we don't even have any, that we will never even know that they were ever there. So I believe certain things that people think I'm a fucking crazy person, but it's not the first time, and it don't hurt my feelings.
It's okay. All right.
What if there is a parallel universe? What if there? Do you believe in strange parallel universes, JJ?
I think that's fun. For those science fiction.
Keeping track at home, that is called the segue of the day.
Yeah. So, guys, today's Mr. E says you're a crazy person. Also, while you and I don't think I didn't notice, Deacon, while you and I were having a great conversation about being a dad and family and the importance of the loved ones in your life, apparently one of us said doo-doo, and the entire chat spent 5 minutes talking about doo-doo. So I know I saw you guys. You're so mature. All right.
That's why we love you.
Yeah, right. So, guys, it's Friday, and every Friday on the show we are watching Fringe.
We
Fringe
don't
is
watch it, but we talk about watching it.
okay. Semantics. Listen to you.
I'm
Every
sorry.
week
I'm being an
we
ass.
watch. Every week we are watching Fringe, and we talk about it on Fridays. This week was episode 4 of season 1. So season 1, episode 4, The Arrival, and it was a great episode. Okay.
Were you able to find the observer in this episode? Did you see him? Did you
Yeah,
spot the
yeah.
observer in this episode? Good,
Now,
because that means
Deke-
you watched the
Deke,
episode.
you've watched the series multiple times over the years. I only watched it originally. So for me, it's been long enough that I've forgotten almost everything. So every time I watch an episode, it's almost like a new thing. So when basically the observer was like the co-star of the shows, like throughout the episode, I was like, oh wow, they really got into the observer stuff like very early in the series. I didn't remember that it would be like that soon. So yeah, I did see the observer in the episode. The observer being the bald guy with no eyebrows. For those who are just now tuning in to Fringe Friday, 3 weeks late, you can catch up. It's a great show. This episode was so good that I almost was like, just roll into number 5. And I was like, stop,
go ahead and
must
watch
be
number 5.
disciplined.
It's like, no, I'll talk about it on the show tomorrow.
So
yeah, it was a good episode. I liked it. Go ahead.
No, well, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to describe kind of what happened in the show, and then we could just talk about it.
Yeah, no, go ahead. If you go through what happened in the show, and then we can take pauses, and I can say, because there were certain things that I liked about this episode.
So first of all, the show opens, and I start watching it on my way because I'm gonna have to piece do the show a little bit at a time to get through the day. So I start listening to it while I'm driving to work, and the show opens with like a cover of a Patsy Cline song. Something about crazy in love or whatever, and I immediately was distracted and started listening to Patsy Cline songs on YouTube. So then I went back to the show, but the Patsy Cline is great. So on this episode, Agent Dunham and Walter and Peter Bishop investigate the appearance of they keep calling it a cylinder, but it looks kind of like a stretched out ice cream cone. Some strange cylinder after an explosion at a construction site. She learns from an old friend that this is not the first time the cylinder has appeared. She learns from Broyles. I don't know about it being an old friend. Yeah. And then it could just disappear just as quickly. And apparently the way it disappears is that it drills a hole in the ground and just goes away. So in 1987, it appeared, and then 48 hours later, it exploded downwards.
It doesn't drill. It doesn't drill. It causes sonic vibration sound. The sound makes it. You remember she said that it vibrates on 2 and 4 megahertz, but when it there at the end when it exploded and just disappeared. So what it's doing is it's sending out a sound wave at a precise signal that's matching the ground, and it's just through the ground. It's like the Rife effect.
Right.
The Rife effect, like there was a guy in the 1920s named Royal Raymond Rife that cured cancer. Basically, he has this machine that it's basically runs on the theory that you know how a singer can hit a certain note and break the crystal.
Right.
That is because the singer is matching the resonance that crystal vibrates on. Every single molecule in the world vibrates. God damn it. Hang on. Let me see CK.
Okay.
Every single that happens 20 times a day. Every single molecule in the world vibrates. And his theory was that if you can match the vibration of those molecules, they destroy each other.
Okay.
Right? You can destroy the molecules. And it happens with glass, the singer's glass. So supposedly he cured cancer, some stage 4 cancer, when we didn't even have a word for cancer. Cancer wasn't the word that we called it back then. And he cured it. And he wouldn't sell his machine to the American Medical Association. So mysteriously, his warehouse got Tesla'd. His shit just burned up and everything. And it's a big, long story. I've read a lot about Royal Raymond. He basically He's the reason we have microscopes today that can see down to the molecular level is because of this man.
Wow.
Because we had a microscope, but he was like, this doesn't see far enough. I want to invent one that does. So he invented it. So it's basically on that.
Telephone.
Yeah. So that's how
Okay.
he did.
So anyway, after 48 hours, it disappears down into the earth. And then now in 2008, in the third week of Agent Dunham investigating the pattern, one shows up at a construction site, and they move it to the lab, but they're a little concerned about it being, because it the first one blew up and went into the ground in after 48 hours. So they're a little concerned about it, but Walter starts using a tuning fork and observing it or whatever. He discovers the resonance frequencies of the thing. Now there's a bad guy in this episode, and the bad guy is after the cylinder thing. And let's see, his I didn't get his name. Maybe it's John Mosley, played by Michael Kelly, I believe. And he's got a hat and an earpiece run into his ear, and he has a spaceman gun of some kind that just shoots like light and knocks people down, probably kills them. I don't know. And
I thought
he
that
goes
was
from
the sound gun too.
Oh, it might be a sound gun.
I don't know.
We don't really know. I don't think we put together why he was after this thing, but we did see him go and basically interrogate people and then kill them once he got the information, trying to get to find out who had the cylinder. The cylinder
Yeah,
has
but
appeared.
how was he interrogating them, JJ?
Right, and that's the thing. Yeah. So he would grab people or strap them down, and then he would shove some wires up their nose and hook them up to some electron machine, and then somehow he was able to read their thoughts. And how was this working out? Like, he was doing something where he was able to read their thoughts through the machine, and then it was like telegraphing into his brain. So later in the episode, we find that the premise of this is that ideas are transferable, and not just by speaking them, and not telepathy by thinking them at people, but the fact that you're in close proximity, ideas wander out of you and they wander into other people like osmosis. So the fact that you're standing next to somebody that knows something, you will absorb that whether you know it or not. And that's exactly what happened to Peter, who, being in close proximity to Walter, who knows a ton of stuff he shouldn't know. Peter gets abducted and gets the wires shoved up his nose, and the bad guy, John Mosley, reads his mind, or reads his mind like you might read from a record player, something imprinted on him, and is therefore able to find the location of the cylinder thing. So it's kind of weird, kind of strange. The bad guy was kind of incidental in this. The real point of interest in the show, though, is the observer, who shows up and is waiting when the cylinder arrives. He was there when the cylinder disappeared in 1987, and he was there when a bunch of other incidents have happened over time.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're just... I don't know if you're going to get to these points, and you always end up getting to the points. You always take the long way around things. And it drives me nuts sometimes, because I'm wanting to go, let's get to the point, JJ. I know where you're going, and we're getting there. Yeah. But we're taking forever. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What you got to say about the observer? The observer is the real interesting character in the show, not the bad guy. The bad guy is just kind of like
the stuff that I want to say you haven't got to yet, and I'm afraid I'm going to spoil something, so I can't talk about it.
The observer turns up at the conclusion of the episode when John Mosley, who has found the location of the cylinder, is going to go dig it up. And Agent Dunham is going to go rescue Peter, and Dunham kills John Mosley, while Peter somehow tackles the observer. And when the observer and Peter have an engagement, the observer suddenly becomes like copycat of Peter. The observer is saying the things that Peter is saying. the observer is in sync. Back in, like, their conversation is questions and it's accusations and stuff, like, very quickly, and then the observer shoots him with a go to sleep gun for a minute, I guess. All right, what is it and this is all kind of entangled with Walter and Peter and the past. The observer apparently has encountered Walter before and actually saved his life like 30 years ago. So, what's up with the observer, Deacon, that I missed?
Oh, I have no idea what I was going to say a minute ago. You think I remember that?
It's gone. It's already in line.
Yeah, no.
This was probably the best episode since the pilot. I think the other two episodes were good, but there was very clearly a lot of setup in some of those episodes. So rather than like story, you'd get some moments that were like, setup of other things. This episode was just kind of driving the whole time. It was really, really good. I don't know what Mosley's problem was. I don't know. I don't know. We don't know really what was going on elsewhere, but this was a good episode. And at the very end, John Scott comes back, even though he's dead, which is really strange. So we'll have to find out what's up with that in episode 5. I did learn, and this is the last thing before we go. So I guess it's almost dad joke time. I did learn that Anna Torv, the actress who plays Agent Dunham, was married to Mark Valley, who played John Scott in 2008. Probably just after this show aired, and then they got divorced in 2010. So for a moment, she's on screen with her husband. Didn't know that. All right. Just a little trivia, I guess. A little trivia. All right, Deacon, you ready? You got anything to say about today's Fringe episode?
No.
Not really. All right.
It was a good episode, and I don't remember what I was going to say, and that's twice.
It was probably something to do with Walter.
It's just pissed me off. Yeah, I had a bunch to talk about, and I'm pissed off now that I don't want to fucking talk about it anymore. I don't even want to read a dad joke.
No. All right. Jeremy would be really happy about that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the show. All right, I do have one question. Okay. What did the mountain climber name his son? It was Cliff. He named him Cliff.
Okay.
That's it. All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you. We'll see you actually next week. I'm on vacation for a few days. So hang in there, and we'll be back maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. We'll find out. That's all. Bye. Join our Discord. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, okay. No, whoa. Yeah, Jeremy, you want a fucking joke? All right, pathetic. I'm pissed off because I can't fucking remember anything. I can't have a goddamn conversation on a show that's supposed to be about a fucking conversation, and it pisses me off. So, fuck, goddamn. What's the difference between a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle? A tire. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. See? Aren't you glad that I read the joke now? Right. I should have saved it when I could have performed it.
Oh. All right, and big shout out to Natasha KA 1982. Thanks for the comment on the video. I hope to see you around. Come hang out with us sometime. All right, bye everybody.